Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean Belegian.
So what is up? Did you like the little fireplace motif again? It's just kind of like a fireplace chat, right? On a Tuesday night. It is Tuesday, right? I've been losing track of I don't know the days and everything, especially when you're watching terrible hockey. More on that. I have a feeling a lot of Wings fans may be joining us tonight. Wings fans that normally wouldn't be joining us. I promise you, we'll get into the Wings in a little bit. No doubt about that. Tournament is almost coming. I didn't catch the final yet. Maybe Todd, if you can, Golden Grizzlies looking to punch their ticket into the tournament for the first time since 2011. My buddy Neil Rule does a great job calling their games. Let's see if the Golden Grizzlies can do that. And Michigan State, well, we're going to have to wait and see. We'll have some more thoughts on Michigan State later in the week as well. Working on a special What the Puck this week. It's probably going to be a Friday night edition. So here's the deal. This week we had just a lot of things going on. I have another trio planned really soon. And it's going to be a trio of local guys. So excuse me, I have a dry throat. You're going to have to excuse me while I drink a cool, refreshing Diet Mountain Dew. A trio of local guys coming on very soon and a bona fide legend. So how's that for a tease? I mean, bona fide legend. Like I've had conversation with this bona fide legend. I'll give you a hint, all right? He goes by one name. Good luck. 81-76 Grizz with a minute left. Good. I hope Golden Grizzlies get a chance to go dancing. Can I throw this out there? And for those of you that are watching right now, I would love to get your thoughts. Now, I get it. Sometimes there are people that just say things because they're emotional. Sports are emotional, and I get it. I get it. I've said this for years. While I'm a very emotional person, everybody knows that about me. You have to learn to take emotion out of situations, right? Rich said Perry Vellucci. No, I'd love to chat with Perry anytime. Perry's more than welcome here, but that is not the bona fide legend with one name. You have to take emotion out of an equation. And yes, there are people both in the media and on social media alike that just like to, what do the kids call it? Troll. Okay. Can you help me out though? And I'm serious. And maybe if you're one of them, let's use this as some therapy. Let's see if we can talk to each other logically and rationally about this. And maybe, just maybe, I can talk you off the ledge. Well, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the free agency period in the NFL. Dr. Belegian will see you now. I'm going to try. Seriously, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the free agency period in the National Football League. I am seeing people lose their minds and put up their cute little memes and cute little tweets. Does Brad Holmes know this started yet? Does Brad get the free agent? Oh, this team signed him, and oh, that team signed them. Goo Goo Baby is running rampant right now. And maybe, just maybe, if you're one of those people, you and I, right here, can have a logical conversation about this, okay? And if anything, I always like to say this. If anything, I would like to believe over the course of my quote-unquote career, I've been consistent. You've probably heard me say what I'm about to say 193 times, and I'm about to make it 194 times, okay? You do not build teams through free agency. You don't. And I figured being the key and operative word, many of you who I argued with over that very point for so many years on the radio, okay? Many of you kind of figured that out the last couple of years watching Brad work. You don't build through free agency. Now, what you want in free agency, I'm not gonna begrudge you for wanting something. Yeah, sure, we all want something, okay? But I'm not, under any circumstance, gonna have a goo-goo baby hissy temper tantrum over what the Lions are not doing in free agency. And to that point, have you been paying attention the last couple of years? Really? Have you been paying attention the last couple of years? I want to get to what Nick said. I trust Holmes over Yzerman right now. We're not at that point yet. I'll get to the Wings in a little bit, but to your point, Nick, we're not at that point yet, okay? Whether people wanted to hear it or not, and here's that line. I didn't even intend to bring this up, but here's that line that I just patted myself on the back for. At least I'm consistent. Nobody wanted to hear this 5 years ago. Nobody wanted to hear this 4 years ago. Nobody wanted to hear this 3 years ago. Nobody wanted to hear it 2 years ago. Nobody wanted to hear it last year, and they certainly don't want to hear it this year. This was going to be at least 5 years. We're not even at the 5-year point yet. We're about a month away from the 5-year point. When we can really start taking stock of what the Red Wings have and what they might be is next fall. He all but said that. Guys, you watch the presser. I watch the presser. That's what jumped out to me immediately is, guys, this isn't going to be easy. This is going to take some time. This is going to have to show some patience. We don't want to get to the point where we just get back into the playoffs. We want to get to the point where we compete like people are used to. See, maybe you could start in the early 90s to 2009. You know, the run in my mind in 2009 was really the last legitimate one. I'm not even going to count losing to the Hawk in the playoff, okay? And that was going to take time. And guys, there's a reason why. Here, don't tell anybody. You promise? This is going to be our little secret. Do you know what the term is in the National Hockey League? 5-year plan. Shh, don't tell anybody. 5-year plan. Sometimes it happens quicker. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Rebuilds are not easy. And rebuilds, like the one that Steve Yzerman had to undertake here in Detroit, are especially difficult because there weren't a lot of assets here. This wasn't like him walking into Tampa and having a not quite ready for primetime Steven Stamkos and Victor Hedman sitting there. But Nick, to your point, no, and Nick, that's okay. I'm emotional about the Wings right now. No, that's fine. I get it. Like, I'm not chastising you. I hope you know that. I'll chastise some of the Lions people in a second. But very soon, we're going to have start having some of those conversations. I don't think the Red Wings are that far off where they should be right now. And you might want to call me crazy. But you have to remember, I'm not somebody that was thinking Stanley Cup either. And I know a lot of people were. Playoffs, take them or leave them. You'd rather make it, right? You'd rather make it. You'd rather not fall apart, as the Red Wings seemingly seem to be falling apart right now. But more on the Red Wings. My ADD is running wild right now. I saw Nick's comment and I was like, all right, so I'm going to try to get back on point. To the people that are really terrified about what's going on with the Lions right now, can I ask you guys a question? And I'm serious when I say this. Have you been paying attention the last couple of years? How has Brad Holmes got the Lions to where they're at? You build through the draft. Nobody wanted to hear it 10 years ago. Nobody wanted to hear it even 5 years ago. But then when you see Brad Holmes make the Stafford move and actually have a long-term vision and not sit back and say, okay, guys, in 2 years, we're going to be ready to go. No. This wasn't that. The last word a Detroit Lion fan wants to hear is the word patience. I'm sick and damn tired of being patient with this franchise, okay? But that's what Brad Holmes, in essence, told us when he made that move for Matt Stafford. Be patient. We've got this extra draft capital, and not just extra draft capital, first round picks. And who knew the Rams were going to fall flat on their face and that pick was going to be higher than it was? And I don't need to tell you what he's done in the draft, okay? I think we got that covered, right? That's where you build. That's how you become a contender. So let's start there. Are the Detroit Lions a contender, Y or N? Come on now. Even you old jaded dogs out there, you know damn well they're a contender. You don't just go to the NFC Championship game and, oh, by the way, with the core nucleus of young guys that they have and expect not to be a contender. So how did the Lions do it? Well, primarily through the draft. That's not to say that you can't help yourself out. I think a couple years ago, going out and getting Jamal, that was good. And making the right move to let him go and drafting a young stud and bringing in David Montgomery. I think bringing in Alex at linebacker was one that flew under the radar. How did that work out a couple years later? The guy was, for all intents and purposes, a Pro Bowler last year. So that doesn't mean that you can't help your team. And I'm not going to sit here and know that I know Robertson's game inside and out. You know what I know? I know what I read, okay? And I'm reading a lot of guys from Vegas talking highly about this guy. Not just his teammates, but talking highly about this guy. This just in, and at least I'm being consistent. You collect corners in this league. Rotational corners. And I read one of the write-ups today from a guy in Vegas who basically said, maybe this guy didn't turn out to be the stud we were all hoping for, but he was a solid rotational part of the Raiders secondary, and he was a ball hawk. Okay, that sounds cool to me. Bring him in, especially at that price. Bring him in. So I can hear people saying now, especially with Jonah Jackson leaving, we need a left guard. We still need an edge. We still need a defensive tackle. Now, those of you who have listened to me for many years, you're going to chuckle because you've heard me say this 1,000 times. I don't know if you know this, but after the free agency period, there's something called the draft. Are you familiar with the draft? It's in Detroit this year, as a matter of fact. Our friends from the Detroit Sports Commission doing a great job with it. Okay, we got another show with them coming up. And then what happens that first day of the draft? Come on, you guys, be honest. Many of you did it last year. The time-honored, what is fill in the blank general manager doing? I can't believe what an idiot he is. We needed this and we needed that. And I'm not even chastising you for who they selected and the fact that it worked out, okay? But one of the things that I always tell people is this. Do you know that there's a second day of the draft? Hold on. But wait, there's more. It's like one of those infomercials on TV. I'm selling you knives, but wait, there's more. There's also a third day of the draft. True story. And then after the draft, you can even go out and get undrafted players. And then you can get guys off the scrap heap. And then you can make deals, et cetera, et cetera. Do you trust Brad Holmes is the question that I will ask you. Do you trust Brad Holmes? If the answer is no, you haven't been paying attention the last couple of years. Period. You haven't. Look what this guy has done. Did I want more in the free agency period? Sure. That's human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. It would be great to go get this DE. It would be great to get this defensive tackle. It would be, you don't necessarily have to get the splash. He has built a formidable team. And yes, I just used the word formidable in a sentence with the Detroit Lions. I don't think anybody can deny that. So if the answer to do you trust Brad Holmes is yes, chill, bro. Chill. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. This is a guy who has nailed the drafts. He's nailed bringing in guys that nobody thought anything about. I think it's a lot of goo-goo baby over nothing, if I may be so bold. All right, I want to see some of the comments in here. My buddy Rich said, people were saying he needed to sign. Hold on a second. People were saying he needed to sign Cousins and dump Goff has been insufferable. I'm glad that you brought that up, Rich. Now, I've said this before. I openly admit I wasn't the biggest Goff guy. He turned out to be something better than I ever expected. He was garbage towards the tail end of his time with the Rams. Didn't see this coming. He wasn't good. I have no other way to say that. Okay? With all this money that people were hoping to spend via free agency, there are some extensions with some of your immortal beloveds here that might be important, right? Not to mention saving money for the draft, not to mention, saving money for this, that, and the other thing, right? I think Brad Holmes has earned a little bit of wait and see, hasn't he? Can we say that? Rob said fans follow the sports journalists that judge free agency winners and losers generally based on two factors. One, who was signed based on where they were, quote, ranked in the top 500 free agents as dictated by said journals. Two, how much was spent. For example, Atlanta just gave $100 million guaranteed to a 35-year-old quarterback coming off a torn Achilles. Is it good? Maybe, but they win by virtue of the signing. Give me a 1-year prove-it deal every day to bridge the gap and build through the draft. Rob, you and I need to have a beer sometimes. You get it. Absolutely, positively get it. 1,000%. Build through the draft. And Rob, I know I've seen comments from you throughout the years. You know how many times people like you and I have had to have arguments with people not that long ago that didn't understand you build through the draft. It is not a difficult proposition by any stretch of the imagination. Like, calm the bleep down. I'm catching myself. Seriously. The swear jar is sitting right there, and I'm not swearing. And look who's joining us right now. I had no idea he was joining us. You ready? Courtesy of WJR, the Mitch Album Show and Sports Rap. It's Blake. I still can't pronounce his last name. Hi, Blake. I still can't pronounce your last name. What a pleasant surprise this is.
We'll work on it. But I was tuned in as I should be. And I heard you talking some free agency, and I was like, I got some thoughts that I thought that I would throw your way.
I would love to hear your thoughts. You're not being goo-goo baby over what the Lions are and are not doing, are you?
No, but at the same time, I can't, like you said, they're a contender. They're in this position where you're trying to add, now you have to add pieces to put you over the top. That's the only devil's advocate thing that I can say. You have to add pieces to put you over the top, and they haven't done that.
I think in my mind, a lot of fans are looking for shiny things.
Yeah.
And I think the Lions already have a bunch of shiny things. I do. Like, what shiny things do we need? Here, let me tell you. I want a defensive end. Well, does he have to be a shiny defensive end? I don't think he necessarily has to be a big, shiny defensive end. I think he has to fit in the rotation with what they have and give some support to a full-fledged stud that they already have on that line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you, like, here, I used Alex as an example, and you're familiar with Alex's work. You talk to him every week this past season.
Yeah.
Who thought of Alex as any kind of a shiny thing? And you know what they did? They kind of spit on him and they rubbed it really hard. And oh my goodness, he turned out to kind of be a shiny thing, didn't he? And I think that's the one thing that gives me hope with this group of guys is they have been able to spit shine some of these guys and turn them into shiny things. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a guy that 1,000 people thought What are the Lions doing drafting this undersized guy? He was slated to go 4th or 5th round in every single draft everywhere. They have done a fantastic job of finding incredible value from some of these guys and turning them into, well, shiny things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
I
that
just
being
totally made that up. I can't believe I almost sounded smart.
said, you did. It was good. Though the one thing I will say, along with I want an end, and I think they need another receiver,
I agree
like
with
a
you.
veteran
I agree
guy.
with you. I agree
like,
with you.
Like Marvin Jones when he came back last year. They need a guy like that might not even catch a lot of balls, but will help J-Mo. And I don't think Amon-Ra needs any help, but just add depth to that position, because especially the way Amon-Ra plays, the dude's not invincible.
No,
Like, you need depth at that position, and veteran depth at wide receiver is very important.
I heard Dan Orlovsky, and for people out there that don't know this, Blake has a passionate crush on one Joe Burrow. I
Mhm.
heard Dan Orlovsky suggest T. Higgins, and I went, yes, sir. May I have some?
Yeah.
I think you don't need that stud. You know what I mean? But would I like a guy like that who's just waiting, to go someplace and have an opportunity like that? Blake, I think that would be a great fit. I applaud Orlovsky for that suggestion. A type of player like that, you don't need a bona fide stud. I don't think anybody's going to sit there and call T. Higgins a stud. He's a darn good player, and I think he'd be a darn good fit.
He's by far the best wide receiver too in the NFL. By far.
I think that's a fair statement. I think
And
that's fair.
also
Wide receiver 2, not TOO. Yeah,
yes.
I 100%. I agree.
And you have to sign a kicker.
Do you?
I don't. Yes, you do.
Do you?
Yeah, because Dan clearly didn't trust him in the playoff game.
I know. No. But is that somebody that you could bring in even after the draft? Some of those undrafted guys, et cetera. Wait till, a team throws a guy on the scrap heap. Do you though? Honestly, I'm not being an argumentative ass. I hope you understand that. I got to be honest with you. I can't believe I'm saying this. Forgive me, Lord. I kind of subscribe to the Jerry Jones school of, we'll find a kicker. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How's that worked out for Jerry?
Well, he's got a damn good one right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best kickers in the
league. Yeah, but right? I'm just saying, the whole Super Bowl thing.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Listen, can I tell you about our friends from the Motor City Rockers? There is a big weekend coming up. It's been great the last few weekends. Ton of home games. Last weekend, if you missed it, they won 2 out of 3. They split with the Waterton Wolves, and then they knocked off the Blue Ridge Bobcats on Sunday afternoon. 3 games this weekend, 2 games at Big Boy Arena. They continue their rivalry with the Port Huron Prowlers. Friday night is at Port Huron, and then Saturday, 6:05, puck drop at Big Boy Arena. You've got the Rockers and the Prowlers, and then another Sunday afternoon game. How about this? A St. Patrick's Day matinee as the Rockers play host to the Port Huron Prowlers. Make sure you get out there. It's a great time. For more information, go to mcrockershockey.com. Blake, I'm really surprised. I didn't expect my friend Blake to be here tonight. So that is a wonderful thing. I hope my friend as well. I want to go back to something that Rob said a few minutes ago. I don't know if you saw his diatribe about the free agent rankings. Rob, do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the draft grades. There's nothing funnier than draft grades to me. Nothing. There's nothing funnier than draft grades. Okay. And we've talked to Blake. I know you and I have talked about it many times. This guy's stock is rising. Really?
Yeah.
Like what caused JJ McCarthy's stock to rise in the last month?
It's smokescreen season. Stop
it. Like this. We're starting to find out what the people who count think about these particular players. And the draft grades always crack me up. Like, go back and look at the draft grades from last year. I'm not chastising anybody. Oh, the amount of crying from what Brad Holmes did in the draft last year. I always go back to the Millen grades. If you don't believe me, Google is your friend. Go look up Matt Millen draft grades. You'll laugh so hard you'll cry in misery at how people were just blathering, national people, over what a great job Matt Millen was doing as general manager. Like, stop it. It doesn't mean anything. And this is where I am going to go back to, do you trust Brad Holmes? And as far as I'm concerned, even a guy like you, Blake, who was dragged kicking and screaming.
I'm on a franchise tag right now.
All right. So you're the perfect guy to talk to since I tagged you. Why on earth? Blake is driving the limo now. He was tagged. Why on earth would you or anybody else? Thank you, Todd. Why on earth would you or anybody else not have faith in this guy at this juncture?
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with his drafting. Yes. And like have things work out in free agency for the most part. Yes. But, the team's in a different position now too. And I'm just saying this to play devil's advocate. You're not building anymore. You're built. Like, obviously, in the NFL and in any sport, you always have to continue to get better and keep building. But like you said earlier, this team is now a contender. It's different now.
Is there somebody that you look at on this market right now? And I'm being sincere. This is a question to you and to anybody else. You have a big circle around him. You've started. You've put arrows into it. And you say, that is the guy. If the Detroit Lions select him, that puts the Lions over the top.
You're saying in the draft or in free agency?
In free agency.
Danielle Hunter would have been the guy. And
you really think so?
Yeah.
No, put them over the top. That's it. No,
I think having another elite defensive end like that, especially a veteran guy that's played in this division, everything, I think he would have been a fantastic addition to this team.
I like what Jim said. One big splash does not win a Super Bowl. Strong depth will.
And I agree with that 100%.
It is rotational now. Don't get me wrong, Blake. I want a stud. I do. I want a stud. I think this is where you have to kind of double back and trust your talent evaluators, who so far have done such a great job in their evaluations. That's just me.
By the way, real quick, because you were so I was watching and you had an ADD moment.
Which time?
You went like down a whole Red Wings thing.
Oh,
and
hi, Rocket.
I don't even know how you got there. But so obviously Mac Jones got traded this week too.
Yes.
How bad was that 2021 draft?
Terrible.
Like
terrible.
Do you think any of that had to do with COVID? Will you give them like a little bit of a pass?
It had to have, right? It had to have.
But like, I mean, legitimately, you look at those.
Look in retrospect, yeah, it had to have, right?
Like the quarterbacks. Is there any guy that you would take right now over Jared Goff in that class?
No.
Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Justin Fields, Mac Jones.
I like Trevor Lawrence.
I do too.
I like Trevor Lawrence.
Would you take him over Jared Goff, though?
I can't believe I'm saying this. No. that goes to show you the change that I did. But this is what I think you and I have had this conversation before. This is the funny thing about having these conversations. I've always been a guy that can admit if I missed on something. I would hope that everybody out there would agree. If I missed on something, I'd like to be the first guy to tell you, okay? I think the flip side to that is there were a lot of people out there that were arguing that Jared Goff was something that he was not back then. And Blake, you watch as much football as anybody I know. Jared Goff was bad. Okay? Like I'm not talking not
broken.
Good. Yeah, he was broken. That's the word that I think you and I and Lomas would use all the time, before I got fired. Jared Goff was broken.
Hey, I came in here out of love for you, and you just got to go there.
Well, you didn't fire me. But Jared Goff was broken. And you know what? They fixed them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I mean, there's no doubt about it.
So there's three
I'll
players.
get to the Wings in a second. David just jumped in. I'll get to the Wings in a second.
There's
promise.
3 players in that draft that are good in the top 10.
All right.
Good players. Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell.
Yes.
One of them's a Lion.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. Yes. I remember, I can't tell you who. I remember somebody telling me definitively that they knew, because they had your boy Joe Burrow, that there was a real good chance that Cincinnati was going to end up taking Penei Sewell. And we know how that worked out. And for Sewell to come to the Lions, I thought it was absolute home run.
Yeah.
Absolute home run. You know? Draft grade should be doled out at least 3 seasons after the draft. Rob couldn't agree with you more. It's fun to look at, right? It's fun to look at. Yay, hooray. I like to see what happens. It's almost like you and I, this almost might be the bit for every show, Blake. It's like the schedule game. I love when the schedule comes out. I play the schedule game immediately. The entire time I'm playing the schedule game, the other side of my mouth is going, this means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely, but it doesn't mean that I don't play the schedule game anyway.
I can't wait until we do a whole episode on the schedule game.
The day that, are you kidding me? The day the schedule is released, we're having an emergency one here.
It's going to be incredible.
And we can all play it, right?
Yeah.
We can all play the schedule game. So yeah, I agree with that. Todd said shut down corner stud. Of course. I want that end. I love an LG stud, right? I'd love the shutdown corner stud. As I said, to me, I think because these guys have systematically gone boom, 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 and found guys, they've got a credit line with me, man.
And who's the shutdown corner stud out there this year? Because I don't think there is one.
You know, corner's an amazing position. Can I tell you, corner is an amazing position because how many guys were not perceived to be that guy and were taken in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where you have to trust your staff. And I think the Lions staff has been pretty darn good in regards to that. All right. So somebody said, let me pull David. Congratulations to Maxim, by the way, on his career with Liggett, David. I think tonight might have been the beginning of the end of the Lalonde era in Detroit. This year's team has as much or more talent than any team in the last 6 years, and they collapse again. It is frustrating. It is unbelievable the way that it's happened. And I think, to me, Blake, it's here it comes. It's not the losses. It's the way they lost. I thought the Phoenix game was an abomination. I really did. I thought it was an abomination. And tonight, from what I saw, I was texting back and forth with our mutual friend, Mike, Barbecue Mike. It's the issue that has plagued them all year, but I don't think people wanted to pay attention to it. They just don't like defense. And I think, Blake, I remember talking to you about this in the fall and a few times here. I think that the stellar play of Alex Lyon has really masked some of the issues with this team.
Yeah.
What also has been masked is, and this is why people like me have been saying this, and Blake, before you joined us, people were mad at me 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even last year. They're not ready. They're not ready. They don't have organizational depth yet. I'm not talking just here in Detroit. I'm talking organizationally. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that doesn't keep me from saying it. Now, did I think they would make the playoffs this year? Yeah, I did. I thought that they would find a way to get in the playoffs and promptly lose in the first round, and which would lead me to say, okay, yeah, it's great to make the playoff, but really, what does it mean? To me, it's what this team looks like next year. It is. That's. I will have every discussion about what they are and what they aren't, in particular next October. Do I think that they're maybe behind where they need to be right now? Yeah. But again, you're talking a 5-year plan, and we haven't hit 5 years yet. I want to see what Steve does this draft. I want to see what Steve does via free agency. I want to see what this team looks like next October. I do. And Blake, you and I have been working together for how long now? 4 or 5 years, right? How many times have how many times have I said that? So at least I've been consistent. At least 100%. I've been consistent. The fall of 24 is when I want to take a look at this team and say, where are they at? Not just in Detroit, but what do they have in the pipeline? And I think a lot of people, to go back to what we were just talking about with the Lions conversation, I think a lot of people are looking for shiny things right now. And I think there isn't a whole heck of a lot of shiny things with the Red Wings right now. And Todd and I were talking about this before we went on the air, and I'm going to ask you, Blake, and I'm going to ask everybody else out there. Last I saw it was 7-2. I don't even know if it's a final yet. I figured a bunch of Red Wing fans would come in.
7-3 final. I just got the alert on my phone.
That's Le Sabre de Buffalo. Like, come on, man. Come on. It's not like they're, lighting it up. I want to ask everybody out there, like right now, really and truly, who's untouchable on this team? Really, who's untouchable? I mean, there is no way that you are going to move this guy. There's no possible way you're going to move this guy to try to make your team better. Because I'm a firm believer in to get something, you have to give something up. And so many times over the years, Blake, I wish you could have heard you be the GM. I hung up on callers left and right because it was, I'll give you Matthew Dandino and Chris Draper in a 3rd-round pick for Jaromir Jagr. And they would get dial tone. So honest question for all the hockey fans out there, okay? Honest question for all the hockey fans out there. Who is untouchable on this team?
Can I give you 2 names?
Okay, go ahead.
Lucas Raymond. And you know better than me. So I'm just saying this from my hockey not elite position. Mm-hmm. Lucas Raymond, he's young. He scores goals. He's fun to watch. I want him on the team. And I think DeBrincat, just because you just acquired him, you would look so stupid if you got rid of him.
I you know what? I could see you making the argument for Lucas Raymond. I could. Like, I'm not going to chastise you for that. I think Mo Seider is. Mo Seider's my one. Like that. Okay. That's my one. Okay. If you wanted to make the argument for Lucas Raymond, that's fine. As much as I like DeBrincat, if you could flip that guy, I think you could get a pretty good package for a guy like that. I really do. But that's a conversation for another day. We're not gonna like have that conversation right now. And that's Blake. I love the movie The Untouchables. One of my favorite movies. You've ever seen The Untouchables?
No.
Oh yeah, I forgot who I'm talking to. What a stupid. We are gonna have a show one day. Todd, I don't know if you know this, if you're privy to this information.
You see him down there left.
Blake doesn't watch movies. I think one of our first shows we had this discussion. Blake, have you seen Jaws? No. Have you seen, you just name a movie and Blake's sitting there going, I never saw it. But there's a movie called The Untouchables, one of my favorite movies, released in 1987. Sean Connery, Kevin Costner, as far as I'm concerned, Robert De Niro at his absolute best. Okay. And one of the lines in the movie was from the cop in Chicago, James Jimmy Malone, played by Sean Connery. And he says, what are you prepared to do? What are you prepared to do? To go get Al Capone, how low are you willing to go? If he pulls a knife, you pull a gun. If he sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's how you get Capone. That's the Chicago way. That's how you get Capone. And I think with the Detroit Red Wings right now, this is a what are you prepared to do moment. I really do. Because Steve Yzerman is a guy that if you look at his track record, he has made moves and jettisoned guys that you never expected him to move. And I have a feeling that I swear on the good Lord above, this is not inside information, and anybody who says they have inside information from Steve Yzerman is lying anyway, okay? But I guess studying the way that Steve Yzerman has operated in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if when this season is over and he doesn't feel good about where the Red Wings are at heading into the 2024 NHL draft, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't look at a couple pieces that people would not expect him to move and he eventually moves them. I would have zero shock at that. Zero shock. That's what he does. Yeah. And if you don't believe me, go look at some of his previous transactions. Heck, I think a lot of people thought, what's he doing trading Anthony Mantha? And we kind of see in retrospect why. Anthony's really struggled, you know?
Yeah. And Yzerman I trust, so.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, but they're a disaster right now. All right, there are a whole bunch of comments. I don't want to disrespect people because they were commenting on some of this stuff. I have a read in just a second as well. The Lion King may be relegated back to print status. Yeah, that was wasn't that one of the biggest questions? How long could he keep this up? It was cute last year with Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget, who kind of came back in and took them on that crazy, crazy run. Jim said, I think it's time for the Wings to call Dr. Kevorkian. There is nothing shiny when it comes to UFAs this season. My buddy Mario, Jim said nobody is untouchable. Rob agrees with me. Mo Sider. However, Larkin's contract term is prohibitive and you couldn't move him. I kind of feel like that as well. I'm not sure if you could do that. Eric with an A said, right now they are showing zero heart, zero sense of urgency, zero structure at either end, zero attention to detail, just embarrassing at every single level from the goalie on out. So I want players with heart, passion, fire in their guts, speed, and a high hockey IQ. Eric with an A, you're seeing it, I'm seeing it, and if we're seeing it, Steve Yzerman is seeing it. And that's why guys, don't be surprised if there aren't multiple moves that we didn't see coming, because that's the way he operates.
Well, and the positive thing about because I was looking at this a couple weeks ago, like how this team is structured and a lot of the players that, like, I'm assuming you wouldn't want to keep around, they have a lot of guys on like 1 year, 2 year deals, like very short-term deals too. And obviously there is some guys with longer term deals, but you have a chance to kind of flip some stuff and move some stuff around and get rid of guys that you don't want because they're going to be UFAs anyways.
Yep. And I mean, that's the smart thing. And I didn't see this coming like this. I really thought they would get into the playoffs, but I'll tell you what, that damn Lou Lamoriello did it again, didn't he? There have been a few times that he made a move late in the season that didn't exactly work. And there have been a few times that he did make a move in the season. And Patrick Waugh went in there. And the funny thing is, I think a lot of people thought that Patrick Waugh would go in there and beat Patrick Waugh and go in there and kick ass and take names and everything. And that hasn't been the Patrick Waugh that's finding success with the Islanders right now. It really hasn't. If you guys aren't familiar, Patrick Waugh is kind of talking about it being a partnership. And Patrick Waugh, are you kidding me? Hellfire and brimstone. So credit to Patty for getting them going right now. I think, Eric, to your point, I know you went on a rant about it. I think right now you are seeing the importance of Lyon to this team. And I know I've been saying that for a couple months. I don't think people were putting enough into it, how he was, quote unquote, saving their bacon. Can I tell you about our friends from Legacy very quickly? Do you mind if I?
Yes. Yeah, I would love that.
About our friends from Legacy. Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy Partners are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents and provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Listen, I know these guys, Joe and Alex and Dave. Give them a call, put them to the test. Just ask for a free quote. That's what they're there for. Say, hey, that idiot Belegian, that nice guy Blake, they wanted us to give you a call to get a free quote. Don't take my word for it. Let them prove it to you. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get you the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. And yeah, they help save you money at the same time. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're paying too much. You could be underinsured. So what are you waiting for? Give Legacy Partners a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Call them today at 586-209-4106. That's 586-209-4106, or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quote. As I said, just give them a call. Put them to the test. Tell them we sent you. They will prove it to you. I love my buddy Art.
That's what I was gonna. I saw those comments,
Art.
and can we just do quick, like 1 minute Bills talk?
Yes, go ahead.
They should draft Roma Dunze.
Yes,
he would be so sick with Josh Allen. He would be awesome. Roma Dunze is going to be the best receiver in the draft, by the way.
And you know what? I'm going to get your back there and say that you said that to me a few weeks ago.
Yes.
True story. He said that to me, and was it on the show? I think we were just talking. Was it on the show? Okay, yeah. I thought we were just being geeky with each other.
No, Roma Dunze is awesome.
Art goes, hold on a second. Wait a second. What did he say? He's such an idiot. Sorry, I didn't realize this is NHL talk right now. My apologies. No, we talked NFL for a while. We did move on to NHL, but Art, for you, we'll include something there. Rob said, Perron, Kane, all UFAs after this year, that whole group of guys. Absolutely. This is where we're at. You know, it's like I said, and I know many of you have a difficult time doing this. I'm trusting in the Iser plan, but next October is going to be very interesting. What this team looks like in October is going to be very intriguing to me, because that's going to be 5 years in. All right. Again, so April 19th, 2019, April 19th, 2024. Give him the draft in that free agency period. What this team looks like in 24, 25 is going to be very, very intriguing to me. This wasn't going to happen overnight. Rebuilds aren't easy. I said this earlier, Blake. He didn't have the benefit of having a Stamkos and a Hedman here. Not quite ready for prime time, although Stammer was. He was a gosh damn stud. I saw it. Trust me. But we're going to have to take a serious look at where this franchise is starting in October.
So is my April in the D chalked? Is that what you're telling me? I haven't been able to get you like that in a while.
I think every time that Scooble's on the mound, you might feel good. Sebastian in the crease next year, breaking out of camp. I'm going to be intrigued at that. I really am. And I'm not just saying this because of the hat. I think a lot of people are thinking that maybe, just maybe, Trey might be the goaltender of the future. Let's wait and see. Again, please consider the source. All right. I'll be the first guy to tell you, anybody out there who says they know what Steve Yzerman's thinking is lying. Flat out. Steve Yzerman is one of the best at holding his cards to his vest. Period. End of story. He doesn't let crap out there fester. That's just not his thing. You know, other guys whisper here, whisper there. That's not Steve Yzerman's thing. I know of some people, not named Steve Yzerman, that kind of feel that maybe Trey Augustine has taken that mantle of goaltender of the future. But again, consider this is a kid that was just drafted last year. You know, it's not very often that a 20-year-old goaltender comes in and, takes a team by the scruff of the neck and takes them to the Stanley Cup. I can think of two off the top of my head, Juan 86 and Cam Ward 20 years later. It doesn't work that way. Usually there's, like a progression. Even Carey Price, as good as he was in his career in his first year, they had a season that nobody expected, and then they kind of fell flat on their face and lost in the second round against the Flyers in 08. So we'll wait and see.
Real quick, because you did a show Sunday, right?
They all run together. Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
we did. Oh yeah, Mike and I did.
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't be with you.
Shut up.
I don't know when this happened, because like you said, all the days are running together for me, especially right now. When did Troy Weaver try to fight a fan? And did you talk about that at all?
No.
Well, we're just talking about the downfall of Detroit sports. Let's just bring that up too.
It's sad. Rocket, will you come here? Art wants to see you. Art's asking for Rocket. Art, if you're still in the chat, I'm going to show you Rocket because Cole always makes an appearance, and Rocket and Art have a thing. I can't explain it. Okay, come on.
I have a lot of questions about that.
Rocket's
the broken one.
There you go. Okay, there. You happy? He's fine. He's not barking. There. Okay, buddy, go on. Why do you people tune in? Like, what are you doing? Don't you have anything better to do on a Tuesday night? Thank you. That was just for my buddy Art. Is that okay? I want to, at least I'm consistent, okay? You are never, ever, ever going to win a battle when you feel the need to give it to a fan. Oh. And I don't understand why these guys,
as a GM.
I don't understand why these guys don't know that. I don't understand why these guys don't know this.
What are you doing even sitting there?
I don't get it.
What are you doing?
Don't
be anywhere near fans right now.
Right now, absolutely. You're just asking for it. Yep, you are. You're literally asking for trouble. No doubt about it. You're asking for trouble. And I don't get it. What do you want me to say? I don't get it. I don't get it.
No, I'm not. And I'm not saying the fan's wrong at all. Like, give it to him. If you see him, give it to him. Like, you're a fan. You have I think fans have the right to boo and all that stuff. What are you doing? Like, why would you even put yourself in that position?
You are never going to win when you decide to get into that with fans. You just aren't.
No.
I can't tell you how many times I had that conversation with athletes that, I covered or guys that became my friend. I'm like, you guys don't get it. Especially if you're struggling. What are people going to say? Do you think they're going to come to your defense?
They're going to be really nice. Yeah.
I don't get it. What did Rob said? Matt Murray made his first NHL start replacing Flower and won the cup with the Pens. Yeah. The thing about Murray, though, fact check me. I think he was 22 when they won that cup. You know what I mean? I think he was a few years removed from his draft year, but the point stands. I mean, crap, you're still 22 years old. You know what I mean?
Is Matt Murray still in the league?
No. Well, I mean, yes, but no.
What a flash that kid had.
Does that make sense? Yes, but no. We've been plagued by injuries. Just plagued by injuries. So you know what? I have a read. Can I get back to the Pistons in just a second?
Do we have to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I guess.
So like you said, he's with Toronto, but same difference. So yes, he's in but no. Like he's not the guy.
I like how many hockey elite dudes we just got in here. So when I ask a question, I get 17 answers right away.
So I would hope they'd all agree with me. Yes, but no. Yeah. Let me tell you, I do need to tell you about my friends, the brothers. All right. Mike Husak, there he is on the left. Jeff Husak, there he is on the right. The guys from Wealth Advantage Group. If you are ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than my pals, the guys at the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by those two guys right there, two brothers with over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, or already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life and have clients in over 20 states. The investment world is a complex one. So if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it's time to call my pals, the guys who work with my family, the experts, the guys at Wealth Advantage Group. Give them a call, 248-773-8574, or visit their website at www.thewealthadv.com. And by the way, congratulations to the Golden Grizzlies. They did it.
I just had a genius idea, speaking of that.
Okay.
Because you've had your ADD moments. I'm having them tonight.
That's okay.
Can we do a March Madness pool with the listeners?
Do you really want to do something like that?
Yeah. And winner, I don't know, gets like a selfie from you or something.
No, burn it. You kidding me?
No, we should
yes,
do
you
that.
can come over and eat my meat. Yes, you can come over and eat my meat. Now that would be, now hold on a second.
We can do that and one for the Stanley Cup playoffs. We can do brackets, like a bracket group with the listeners and us.
Now that would be something, you know, let's go have a barbecue. Maybe, you know, barbecue Mike and I could like put on a barbecue for the people.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Winner gets a barbecue.
Okay.
You want to do that? I can set that up.
I think we could do that. I think we could do something like that,
Would
right?
the listeners like that or no?
I
know we got a lot of hockey elites in here, so that's why I said we could also do one for the Stanley Cup playoffs. But anytime I can make an extra bracket, I'm in. I love getting the bracket in my hands.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Lunch at Sean's house. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they're a weirdo, then it's got to be a public place.
Yeah. As Rob said, Murray made his first playoff start replacing Fleury. He started in 2015. Yeah, he was 22 though, if I'm not mistaken. Check me if I'm wrong. You know,
I think
Waugh, Price, Ward, those guys were all 20.
23.
You know what I mean? Oh, he's 23. Okay. Yeah. So you get the point. So Troy Weaver is a perfect example of what we were talking about in regards to the Red Wings earlier. Rebuilds aren't easy. It's the right idea. Like the Pistons were, I always use the term, they were a hamster on a wheel for about 10 years. Sometimes the little hamster, his little legs were running so fast, but he's not going anywhere. He's in a stupid cage on a wheel. He's not going anywhere. They had to do something different, right? They had to do something different. Rob said, born May 94. He was 21. But yeah, but when they won the cup, he was 22, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. He was 22. Whereas guys like Waugh and Ward were 20 years old. Whatever.
Focus.
Whatever.
Stay on one point.
Do you understand what I'm saying, though, Blake? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a perfect example of he had to tear it all down and say, we're going to suck, but we're going to get draft picks. And we're going to get high draft picks. And we're even going to get the number one pick in the draft. And you know what it guarantees? Nothing. It doesn't guarantee a damn thing.
And in the NBA especially. Like in the NBA, like these lottery picks are still crapshoots. Like you don't know. And like Cade is a good player. Like he was probably the best player in that draft. I'm not like a diehard NBA guy, so I don't know that draft off the top of my head. But he's still a really good player. But then the other draft picks haven't worked.
Yeah.
And it's just such a crapshoot in the NBA, man. It's so hard.
Off the air said Murray became the first goalie to win not one but 2 Stanley Cup as a rookie after being a late season call up a year ago. Didn't play enough games to get that tag removed. That's something that neither Watt, Dryden, or Cam Ward ever managed. True. But we're talking about Trey Augustine and how ready he might be able to take the reins of this team. And this is a kid who's 18 right now. And there's a big difference between a kid who's 18 and saying, this team is yours in 5 years. And that's why I brought up Cam Ward and Patrick Waugh, to a lesser extent, Carey Price. I mean, nobody expected anything from the Habs that year, and they ended up winning the division. And this is amazing to me. Oh, Instagram disconnected after 1 hour. I didn't mean to go 1 hour tonight. My bad. Sorry.
You broke it.
See what Blake did it. It's all Blake's fault. He joined us.
It is
so yeah, that's so to the point. Is it Sebastian or Trey? I know there are people in the franchise that really like Trey, but is he ready to take the mantle in 2 years? Like being a guy who's 20 going on 21, you know what I mean? That's why I wonder aloud. As much as I like the kid, obviously for good reason, as much as I like the kid. So that's the way it goes.
Anything else you want to bitch about?
I'm not bitching about anything.
I know. I just was ribbing you a little bit.
Trey will be the first to win 3 cups his rookie year. Book it. Sean coloring outside the lines per usual. What does that mean? You
were saying things out of context, like Instagram going like I don't know if you know this. What they see isn't what you see.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So they had no idea.
Sorry about that. That's my brain. You guys know my brain. All right, listen, before we get out of here, and I do want to tell you about our friends, Lindsay Broadwell, and all of the fine people with Lindsay Broadwell. And listen, guys, seriously, if you are thinking about selling or buying, the first person you have to call is Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of business. When it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her entire team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyers, sellers, even first-time buyers, make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your research today at BroadwellHomes.com. So this will be really interesting to me, guys, to see what transpires the next few months with the Red Wings. Because, I mean, with the Pistons, we see it's not going anywhere. And Blake, trust me, if Art's still there, I was crucified. I mean this, crucified by Piston fans a few years ago because I wasn't jumping for joy, A, when they won the lottery, and B, when they selected Cade Cunningham.
Oh,
you hate nerds, fun. You hate
nerds that were excited about a draft pick suck. I hate
I don't get it.
This is one of the greatest Detroit moments.
Dude,
no,
I don't
get
get
out
it.
of here.
I don't
get out
get
of
it.
Here. Win something. Draft picks are not fun.
I don't get it. You know when I'll get excited? When you start winning games.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'll get excited. And I'll get excited even before then. If you're showing me signs of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes
it's the same thing I said about the Lions. Do something.
Sometimes, and they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like Rob was talking about, like Matt Murray's kind of the story of the night. But seriously, sometimes you don't even see it coming, right? Sometimes you don't even see it coming. I don't think anybody saw it with Cam Ward. I don't think anybody saw it with Patrick. I know nobody saw it with Patrick Waugh. If you don't believe me, go look at what a mediocre rookie season he had. And then all of a sudden he comes in the playoffs and it's like, good Lord in heaven, who is this kid? You know, and that's the way that it goes. So, yeah, sometimes it doesn't mean anything, but I'm telling you, Blake, it drove me out of my mind. I got killed by those Pistons fans. Oh, you're just trying to be different. No, I'm sorry. I'm never going to get excited about that. When you start to show me something, that's when I'm going to get excited.
I got your back. You're right. 100%.
So is this it for the Red Wings? Are they done?
Done or finished?
Done for this year.
Okay, but not finished.
Are they done for this year? I'm asking you. Are they out of the playoffs now?
Like, are they statistically out?
No, I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're asking me.
Where do you think they're going to finish? In the playoffs or out of the playoffs?
For mental health reasons, I would really like them to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to.
I think they blew it. I really do. I think they're blew it. And they're not that far behind. I mean,
how do you get those vibes back up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with some of the adversity. To lose 6 games in the way they lost 6 games this time of year is gross.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross, right? It is. It's gross.
100%.
Dave said Weaver went 80s, 90s Lions game with fighting in the stands. Yeah. They were out of the playoffs last night. Wings were out of the playoffs last night. And even though Islanders lost, they're still out of the playoffs. Do you think that they'll be in the playoffs? Do you think they leapfrog Islanders or even Tampa? I think they're going to be out. I really do. And I didn't think that until just recently. That's how bad this swoon has been. Really. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's Islanders have a game in hand too. Rob, you're looking at the standings, right? I think the Islanders have a game in hand, right?
Well, at least you have the Big Ten tournament to look forward to, right? That was mean what I just did just now.
Listen, my team's not in 14th.
No. Hey, I won a national championship in football. I'm good.
You should be good.
I'm good for a calendar
Don't
year
worry.
at least.
Michigan State's going to win it in hockey this year. No pressure, coach. No pressure, Coach Nightingale. No pressure whatsoever. Doug said right now the Larkin injury is hurting, and all of a sudden no one is scoring. The defensive issues have been there all year. I'm sorry. Blake, you can get my back here. I've been saying it all year long. I think Lyon was masking a lot of the issues as well. There's no doubt about it. Good news is, though, as Rob points out, Wings do have 31 rows, regulation and overtime wins as compared to the Islanders 28. But right now it is a bad thing. All right, we got to get out of here. I didn't expect to go this night. Rob said, we all know it's the trash patch curse. Only explanation. Do you have a problem with it? Do you have a problem with it, Blake?
Yeah, I didn't like that they added it during a win streak. Don't change anything during a win streak.
No, I'm not going to argue.
Not even your underwear.
I am not surprised at it in any way, shape, or form. I'm disappointed in it.
It stinks, but I get it.
To see a wonderful, beautiful, iconic jersey like that have that patch on it is disappointing, but not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And that beautiful Habs jersey has that RBC logo on it. It's disappointing, but not surprising. If there's a buck to be made, these teams are going to make it now. The things that we thought would never happen 30 years ago, back when I had season tickets at Joe Louis, are happening left and right. If there's a buck to be made, they're going to make it,
I'm still not convinced that we'll ever see it in the NFL, though. I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't. You can call me an idiot. That's fine. Do it. Please. Call me an idiot. I don't think it'll happen.
I think it'll happen. If there's a buck to be made and a lot of bucks to be made,
I could see like
the NFL is the king of money.
The bumper on the back of the helmet, I could see it there.
Yeah.
Not on the jerseys.
It's gross. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I'm not surprised at it. Like, not at all. I wish it would go away. Blake, it's a pleasure to see you. Todd, thank you. Yeah, this was supposed to be 40 minutes. Here we are, an hour and 8 minutes.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
It's ADD's fault. Thanks to all you guys. Love chatting with you. Great to see y'all again. Lots of football talk, lots of hockey talk, and the depressing basketball season for everybody except the Grizz. Congratulations to Coach Campy and the Grizz. They're going dancing again, the first time since 2011. For Blake, I'm Sean. We'll see you. Bye.
Off the Air with Sean Belegian, featuring Sean Belegian and Blake Matrazak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Matrazak. Executive produced by Sean Belegian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Belegian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.